One. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeanne Gallagher, and welcome to the third installment of Discover Rising Tides, How the Outside Makes the Inside Better, where we explore the importance of the outdoors and maintaining life balance. Through this series, we will be talking with women business owners and to understand their journey. So today, I'm excited to introduce to you Kristine Spencer. Hi, Kristine.
Hi, how are you, Jeanne?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Kristine is the owner-operator of Olympus Sport Coliseum and Little Kickers franchise. Through the franchise, she services families with children 18 months to 9 years, and she's also the varsity girls and boys volleyball coach at Indercombe High School. So welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks. This is the redo version because we did this once and had some technical difficulties. So we're going to redo again. So thanks so much for that. And so let's start out and tell us a lot about Olympus Sport and the facility and the services that you provided, and we'll work from there.
All right. Olympus Sports Coliseum was a 50,000 square foot facility that my husband and I started in 2014. It was built by the community for the community. We were in a good place, and that was our way of giving back. It was a phenomenal facility. It had volleyball, basketball, soccer. We had a full training center with weights and a conditioning field. We had batting cages, a bar. I mean, what more can you want? We serviced families all over the greater Sacramento area, including some teams came in from Reno to play soccer. We hosted the U.S. National Women's Soccer team for a training for their 17Us. We've done football. There's all sorts of different sports that we've done in our facility. It was amazing the community support that we had in order to complete the building, because we couldn't have done it on our own. We didn't hire contractors. We didn't hire, these big companies. We did it all ourselves.
That's amazing. And so when you started, did you have the vision that you were going to create such a phenomenal community offering, or is it something that just developed itself?
It kind of developed itself. The building that we got into, we really only wanted 10 to 12,000 square feet. Mm-hmm. And the price was actually $3,000 more to get 50,000 square feet opposed to 10,000 square feet. And so it would just made sense to go with the entire building instead of a small portion of the building.
Yeah, and then it's almost a no-brainer, but then it's oh my gosh, what do we do in the 40,000 more square feet?
Yes. I mean, one of the things that we wanted to do was have it so that, with all the different sports, families come in, they all work out at the same time and then go home and have dinners. Because right before the pandemic, you've got one kid going to soccer at one place, you got another kid going to volleyball at another place, you got a kid at football someplace else. And our goal was to just kind of bring all the families into one building, offer all the services so that they could get all their training needs taken care of and then go home and have some family time.
That's amazing. So through the process of creating the complex, was that easy? Is this the first time you've done something like that?
It's the first time we did something like that. As far as the build out, that wasn't hard. My husband's an engineer, a mechanical engineer. So the building part of it, we do that all the time. It was working with the city of Sacramento and working, understanding what their rules were. Mm-hmm. They've never had to, what is it called? Not certify, but, approve plans for something like this. And so they put us on the likes of Arco Arena, which is a massive place where people come for 3 or 4 hours. Our average person would stay an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most.
So you really blazed a trail for this type of a facility in the area.
Yes, it was one of a kind.
That's amazing. So before the pandemic happened, how many families were you servicing?
We were probably servicing close to probably 3,000 to 5,000 a month. During the winter months when we had our soccer leagues, we were servicing 1,000 kids a weekend.
Wow.
That doesn't include any of our other weekday stuff. That was just soccer. So we serviced a lot of families in the Sacramento area.
Holy cow. And so you as a business owner, what did your day look like?
I was usually there by 8 or 9 a.m. and I wouldn't leave until midnight or 1 o'clock. It was all consuming.
Mm-hmm.
I was working 90 to 100 hours a week. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm. Did you have staff?
I did have staff. We ran on a very minimal staff. The way we set up the building, like 2 people could look at the entire facility,
Mm-hmm.
turn around and see the entire facility. But it was, we were running on minimal finances. So
Mm-hmm.
the city took a lot of our money.
I've heard that story before.
Yeah.
That's not unusual.
No.
Between the challenges of getting it approved and then dealing with all of the red tape that happens. So you said 5,000 families approximately in the area.
That's about per month that we were averaging.
That's amazing. So how far, what kind of a range do you think that people were traveling from?
We had people as far as Stockton. We had some people coming in from like Redding and Chico.
Wow. So over an hour away.
Yeah, over an hour. Reno. We had
Reno.
One team come several years in a row from Reno.
That's amazing. And then you even pulled in the women's soccer team too.
Yeah, we pulled in the women's U17 soccer team. We had, oh my goodness, we had a band group come in. They just they had a day off, so they wanted to rent the field. So they came in, and I'll think of the name of who it was, but they came in and they played soccer, just a pickup game with all their staff. So that was
that's fantastic. Cool. No, that's cool. So as with many other people, the pandemic changed a few things for you.
It changed a lot.
That's understatement.
Started with, in 2016, cannabis was legalized, recreational cannabis was legalized. And so the prices of buildings skyrocketed, and our landlord sold the building out from under us. And in 2019, we had to move into a new facility. And so March of 2019, we moved into a new facility, and then 2020, a pandemic hit. Between the 2 losses, we actually closed our physical facility. And then just this year, about a month ago, I started Little Kickers, and we
Mm-hmm.
are fully operational and going strong. So that's exciting.
That's great. So let's talk about Little Kickers a little bit, and then I want to get back to the COVID piece too. But so for the Little Kickers program, since that's currently going on right now, tell us a little bit about, or a lot about, that program and how it works and families that you're seeing.
All right. So it's an awesome program. I'm so excited. It's working with 18 months to 9-year-old kids. It's 50-minute classes where we're working on not just soccer development, we're also working on cognitive development, hand-eye coordination, hand-foot coordination. We work with colors and numbers. And so we're doing kind of a full service development rather
Mm-hmm.
than just going out on a soccer field and teaching soccer. And we use a lot of little games. They're fun games. One of them is Sharks, where we use vinyl dots, and there are boats, and then we throw them down and we look for sharks. The kids love it. So it's, just a lot of little games that, we're tapping into the kids' imaginations, because from like 3 years old to 6 years old, their imagination is wild. Mm-hmm. And you can you can turn the soccer field into an ocean, and it's really an ocean, and they're talking like, they're right there in the ocean and seeing actual animals. So it's a lot of fun.
And honestly, where do these days, with social media and electronics, where do kids really have an outlet to explore activity and imagination at the same time?
Not very many places, especially with computers, or I should say electronics, period. It takes a lot of the imagination out of everything, because what you see is what you get. And
also, too, with the online learning that these kids have been going through, rather than being in school in person, that has to have changed, or you must see an effect of that with these kids too, don't you? Well, it's some of maybe the 6 to 9 year olds.
Not as much on the imagination. It's the socialization that we're finding that there's a lot of changes. Parents will bring their kids and they're like, oh my gosh, my kid used to be this social butterfly, and they don't even want to go on a field and be with other kids or other people, because they're just so, the anxiety is so high. We had one child who, the first time he came, he screamed and cried the entire hour, and he would run, 20 to 30 feet away, just bolt and screaming. You say hi to him, he just screams. The second week, he played 2 games. The third week, he did about half of the games, and I was able to, we do stamps at the end and fist bumps. We were able to put a stamp on his hand, so he actually let us touch him. And then by last week, I was able to put stamps on his hand and fist bump, and he participated for probably 3/4 of the time.
Wow.
And so just the social, the socialization that these kids are getting through this program is phenomenal as well, because some of these kids don't even remember pre-COVID.
I never thought of that.
Don't even remember pre-COVID. And so it's we're their first outside experience in a long time.
Isn't that amazing? That's amazing. I never even considered that, but that makes sense, especially if they're 6 or 7 year olds, and maybe they're or 6 year olds just in first grade, and the only thing they know is this remote learning thing, and then maybe some integration in a classroom.
Yeah, and there's not a lot. I mean, right now, integration in the classroom is by choice. And so, like, my son's in high school, and he has some classes with 6 kids in a class when normally they would have 30 to 40 kids. So it's a lot different. Even just going back to school is different.
Yeah, and you think about too the anxiety of being in groups of people for these kids, and honestly, adults are feeling the same thing.
They are.
Yeah, with everybody working from home, and I know for me, my interaction with clients is totally different because of COVID and where we're in. We're doing more of what we're doing here, the Zoom and the lack of that one-on-one conversation personally in person. It does change so much.
Well, even with masks. So I've been around kids because I do coach high school volleyball. We've been practicing since June of last year. And even though you're in social contact, not seeing the kids' faces is very different. There's some schools that do play without masks, and it's strange to see. Not that I don't like it, but I'm being very cautious. So my kids are required to wear it, because if we get one positive test, the entire team is shut down. So,
right. The last time we talked, you were talking about the high school kids and how you are supporting them through the COVID piece too. Can we touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So I would say a lot of people are concerned about the younger kids. The high school kids got hit the worst. I have 2 teenagers, and I'm around teenagers all the time because of the high school and coaching. And most of them, until volleyball, their parents were not allowing them to be outside the house. And when they came, I got to a point where after about 4 months of only doing training and only doing individual training with volleyball, there's only so much you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, at that point, I'm going, why am I doing this? What am I, and a group of kids came one day and goes, this is the best part of my entire week. And I was just, so that just made it go, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. I'm out here for a reason. And now that we're playing games and traveling, it is like the highlight of their week, being able to, I have teenagers waking up at 6 a.m. to go to practice.
Wow. Wow.
Very few are missing practice because that's just, they want to be there and they're dedicated. So teenagers, well, we're all social beings, but teenagers especially are wired to be social. Yes. They are
sometimes too wired, right?
Well, and it's, they hug and they touch, and it's not in any other, it's just as friends, but they aren't able to do that as much. Or on campus, I have to say 6 feet apart. You guys have to be, we're on campus, you have to be 6 feet. What you do at home, I don't care. But, here you have to be 6 feet apart. But, also with that is, I'm around probably 4 different groups of teenagers, and just the depression and the mental illness that is happening with these kids because they are not able to socialize, they are not able to be normal kids, is really rampant. I know several kids that, just through my contacts that have had major depression and been put on medication and seeing counselors for it. So it's very serious. And, so me being able to be in contact with them and, I have a group of boys, they actually got quarantined, and I'm texting them every day, just checking on them to make sure that, hey, how you doing? Making sure you're okay, because I know it can be one day they're fine, the next day they're not. So
that's so important. And I think that too, especially when people are quarantined and they're forced to be separated, that there's that isolation piece, and without somebody reaching out on a regular basis, it can be devastating, right?
Yes, it can, especially when they take away the one thing you love to do. So
wow, yeah. So for the Little Kickers program, what's your area that you think that the kids are coming from right now, and how many kids do you have in the program?
So right now we have hit 184. So we got about 10 more from when we originally did this. So yeah, we're at 184. We have families from Woodland to Elk Grove to Roseville, Folsom, and then obviously Natomas and Robla, because that's where we're right now we're locally at. So
you're really pulling from quite a fair distance.
Yeah,
for the kids to come.
People are traveling 30 to 40 minutes to be here.
Wow. And so where do you see the program in the next 12 months or so? Is it easy? Can you project that out?
Yes, I have plans. We're actually adding in June, when our next session starts at the end of June, we're adding something called Skills Institute, which will take us all the way up to 12-year-olds.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's a little more advanced skills. We don't do the little fun games because they're a little bit older, and we're kind of preparing them for club at that point. So we're adding that in June, and then in October, we're planning to open up in Elk Grove as well.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
Yeah. And we're doing this at city parks, keeping it outside, keeping it with all the COVID constraints. The kids don't have to wear masks. We ask that all of our coaches are required to, and then we ask the families to social distance as much as possible, which everybody's been really good about that.
Yeah. So what's the cost for families to participate? And we'll put we'll do the contact information at the end of the show, and we'll put that in the show notes too. But what's the obligation for parents to participate?
So we offer 10 to 12 week sessions, it's $15.50 per session, per class. So in a 12-week session, it's around $183.
Mm-hmm.
There is a yearly $25 registration fee that includes a jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So every year they'll pay that and get a jersey. But it is open enrollment. So you can sign up at week 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this session, we have 10 weeks. You can sign up at week 6, participate in 4 weeks, and only pay for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But we do ask for the whole season's payment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a weekly thing.
That makes sense. Yeah. And so how long are the sessions, or what's the time frame, and when are the sessions available?
So we offer classes on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're at North Natomas Community Park and Robla Park. Mm-hmm. We alternate Tuesday, Sunday, we're at Robla Park. Thursday, Saturday, we're at North Natomas Community Park. You can do a free trial class. If you go to olympussports.net, there is a link for a free trial class. You sign up for a free trial, you get to come and see if you like the class. We have coaches, all different styles of coaches, but they do very similar stuff, and they're excited and they want to be out there. And I think they're having just as much fun as the kids that are participating are.
I would think so too, right?
What job do you get to go out there and be silly and play games? Not very many.
Exactly. That's great. And so it's really phenomenal that this piece has taken off and, just at the right time. And so going back to the COVID and the closing of the business, that was hard, wasn't it?
It was devastating, like absolutely devastating. During that time when we were tearing down, I actually broke my foot, and my kids are the ones who actually finished emptying the building. And then I went into probably a pretty severe depression.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that probably saved me is hiking.
Really?
Getting outside, getting active, and just really focusing on me for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was exhausted with not just running a business with those many hours, but also running, moving a business, and then, having all the stress of the move and all of that as well.
So how hard was it to start? So if you're really in a down place for yourself, how hard was it to actually motivate yourself to get outside? Was that easy, or?
It wasn't too hard. I mean, what really kind of kickstarted it was after I broke my foot, my sister came and visited, and I wanted to show her around. I had actually just got my boot off, and I took him out to Hidden Falls, and I'm like, okay, let's go for a hike. And they have a nice easy path. And so it not only helped with my mental recovery, but it also helped with my physical recovery, because,
mm-hmm.
You're having to balance and when you're walking. So it helped.
Movement heals too.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was your progression utilizing the outside, and how did you see that affect your personal mental state? And could you tell right away, or was it something that, it took a while to get out and really get yourself refocused?
I kind of made a goal to go at least to start off with. It was twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started joining different hiking groups, NorCal Hiking, Hiker Babes, just to see what, different trails that were out there. I know I have all trails, but sometimes it's overwhelming when you go and look at all trails. But,
mm-hmm.
But it was just, trying to find different places to go to just get me out. And then somebody posted, hey, I'm going hiking here. Does anybody want to join me? And I joined that group, and there's 3 or 4 of us that hike. We probably hike every other week together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's lot because then if you commit to somebody, you're going to go anyway. But, I'm an outdoors person. I've been camping since I think I was in a backpack with my parents backpacking. And so, it's just been a part of my life forever. But being so busy, I just kind of got away from it. And so now I've gone back to it.
Yeah. And so people realize that through Facebook, there are quite a few hiking or groups that you can meet people at. And the old way used to be like meetup.com, but really the Facebook groups are super handy. So the North California or NorCal hiking group and the Hiker Babes, I think that's where we came in contact with each other as well. And it's a great resource because there's people asking questions in a safe environment. If you're uncomfortable hiking by yourself or you're curious about something. And you mentioned All Trails too. And so people are aware All Trails is an app. And you can plug in an area or plug in a trail and it will give you the route. But you're right. If you're not familiar with the organization, you're just overwhelmed, or the organization, the location, and you're just overwhelmed with what do I do? How far do I go? When you plug something in, it's hard to choose a trail. So getting feedback from other people that might have hiked a certain hike. Is this too hard for me? Is it too easy? Is this what I'm looking for? It's nice to talk to people that have had similar experiences as well, don't you think?
Oh yeah, it's helped a lot. The other thing with All Trails, it's a good app, but there's been several where it would say it was 6 miles. It ends up being 9 miles.
It's not always right.
It's not always accurate. Went on a 15-mile hike that ended up 19 miles. And
surprise.
But it's also, what is easy for me may not be easy for you, and so I take some of that stuff with a grain of salt. And I've done some hard hikes lately. I went to Pinnacles and did the figure 8. And at that point, that was probably the hardest hike I have done because you're going up to the peak twice on both sides. Gorgeous hike. I don't know that I'd do it now because it's so hot. And then we did the 4 peaks of Mount Diablo. That was hard. That one about broke me, and it takes a lot. But, now that I've had about a month, I'm like, now that I know what I'm doing, it'd be nice to go and do it to enjoy again of it. But yeah, I don't know if I'll do that.
So tell me about the picture in the background behind you.
All right. So I took a trip to Alaska. I have a sister that lives there. And we were outside for 5 straight days. We didn't. This was back in February. So yes, it was cold. Yes, there was snow. But if you plan accordingly and wear the proper clothing, it's really not that bad. All my friends were like, oh my gosh, you look so cold. And I'm like, no, I really wasn't. I was just dressed. I was dressed properly so that I didn't get cold. But that is Mount Matanuska. We went and saw the glacier there. It's phenomenal. We probably only saw a mile of the glacier. It's a 22-mile glacier. And it's phenomenal. I was just in awe. I just saw a quote from Jeanne about wandering and, being awe-inspired. And I texted my sister because she had told me, oh, all you did was look like your jaw was hanging open the whole time. And I'm like, well, here you go. This is why. And it's so true that it's just there's just this raw beauty in Alaska. If you haven't been to Alaska, I highly recommend it. And summer is different from winter. I mean, you do different stuff. We went over to Portage Glacier as well, and there's a 2-mile tunnel through a mountain. On one side, it's glacier and frozen over. You can ski across the lake, walk on the lake, everything. You go through the tunnel, it's a liquid lake.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just the climate, a little bit of climate. It's not that there wasn't any more snow, any less snow or anything. It was just the way the winds blew or the temperature blew. it was water and not ice. And so
That's amazing.
It was really neat. But I mean, Alaska just has a raw beauty. I can't, anything that I've been to, it's just not, it doesn't matter which way you turn. I went to Anchorage, by the way. Which way you turn is just, 4,000 feet straight up. There's mountains all around you. So yeah, it's amazing.
That's incredible. And so wonderful that you could spend that time with your sister in her backyard.
Yeah, it was amazing. I'm going to try going a lot more. It's been 20 years since I went. So.
Oh, wow.
Was much needed.
So you are feeling better. And
better. I mean, you have ups and downs, you have good days, you have bad days, and you look at the positive things. I'm actually in counseling right now and getting help, not just doing the hikes and stuff, but I am getting professional help because I was in a very bad place. And it's helping. And if you're at that point, it's hard to ask for help, but it does help.
So how do you think that this experience with COVID and things are changing, things are opening up, how do you think that changes your personal outlook of how you're going to handle yourself going forward?
With Little Kickers, and if we decide to reopen a building, I will be not working 100 hours a week. I'm going to make
good answer.
I am definitely making it a balance and keeping a balance because number one, for my mental health, but also my physical health. And I was turning into a person I didn't like to be.
And you don't know it's happening either, right?
No. And you can't, at least I couldn't control. I was reacting to, my kids would say something and I would react badly, and they would just ask me, hey, what do you want for dinner? And I just blow up at them, and so I'm changing how my outlook and how I react to things and just really, being introspective and trying to get focused on me and making myself better.
It's interesting as we all go through the pandemic and COVID and where we all were before and where we're heading now. It's almost sometimes you can look back and reflect and say, thank goodness it happened. It could have been a better way for something like that to happen. But if we can get to the other side and like you are taking steps to make things better and really reevaluate, it might end up putting you in it will put you in a better place. Don't you think?
Definitely. I mean, it'll definitely put me in a better place. I mean, it gave me a chance to, number one, rest, but it also gave me a chance to reevaluate and go, okay, is this where I want my career to be? And the answer is yes. I'm a sports person. I think it is very good for people. Just not only mentally, but physically. And, I like helping people. And so it's giving me an outlook of going, okay, this is a better way to do things rather than it being me having to do everything. And, I'm already training somebody to take over my position, especially when we start to expand with the Little Kickers. So,
that's great.
Yeah, I'm just planning ahead instead of getting stuck.
Do you think that there's a chance for the Coliseum, the complex, to reopen?
We're talking about it. There's a new council person in the district where we were at, which is District 2 in Sacramento. He is a big proponent of ours. He really believes in what we did and who we are. And so, yes, I think there's a possibility. When it will happen, for me, I don't want to open anything up indoors until they have completely lifted the pandemic, because there is always that chance, just like in India, where it's like, yeah, everything has to be shut down again. And I don't think I could go through another like
No, and that makes
you know.
sense. If you have an idea of what it could be, now you can be in control of that as much as you can and wait. And you're fortunate enough to have the Little Kickers program expanding
Yes.
and providing it. And who knows what might turn into on the other side too.
Yep.
That's fantastic. So tell us again, you mentioned the website, but give us your contact information and well, like I said before, we'll put that in the show notes, but go ahead and give us all of that.
All right. So you can find us at olympussports.net, olympussports.net. The phone number is 916-572-4945. We're on Facebook. Play OSC is the handle for Facebook. We're on Instagram. I don't remember my Instagram.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yes. And come see us at a park at Robla or North Natomas Community Park. Have your child do a free trial. It's an exciting program and it's really fun to see all these kids out there.
That's great. So thank you. Any closing thoughts that you might like to leave us with?
Don't live in fear. If you want to do a business, do it. If you don't do it, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much for sharing your story. And thank you so much for bravely sharing how you felt and what you experienced, because I know that other people that's going to resonate with other people. And I appreciate your time today. It's been great talking with you.
It was great talking with you too.
Thank you.